Have you been really curious about the charity quilt along? Have you wanted to do one of my other quilt alongs? And I have a little chit chat on the difference between rotary cutters. I've got two of them. I'll show you the difference. I had a question about that. I'm Pat Sloan. It's so good to see you, friends. This is my fireside chat, and I'm just so excited. Behind me is the charity quilt that I'm going to be doing with the Fat Quarter Shop and Moda Fabrics, which donates to Make-A-Wish. And this is my 5th year doing the charity quilt along, and the quilt that I make will be donated also for Make-A-Wish. So it's a huge, big community building thing, and it's so much fun. And I did a little unboxing video. Did you see that one the other day when the quilt came in? The quilt is behind me. Let me just lift this up. There you can see the whole quilt, and I'll scoot back a little bit. There it is. Isn't it gorgeous? It's like, yeah. So I did this unboxing, and they had the quilt. If you didn't see it, you've got to go watch, because the quilt, there was a little surprise that I wasn't expecting. So I wanted to, if you haven't watched it, it's kind of funny. But let me tell you about the quilt along. I'll bring you down here a little bit. So every year, the quilt is already made, and there's patterns and all kinds of fun stuff that go along. And let's see, I got the dates written down. February 1st we start through July 15th. And so there's a whole sequence, and the blocks will come out, and then you make them. And the Make-A-Wish part, the donation part, is that each block you can donate $5. If you want to just donate a lump sum to charity, to the Make-A-Wish, you can just do it all at once, and you don't have to do it every time a block comes out. A lot of people do that because it's just easier, and it's been so exciting to be a part of this charity event. Last year, the Jollies, Kimberly and Kevin, that own the Fat Quarter Shop, they donate money to Make-A-Wish. Then Moda Fabrics donates money. Mark Dunn is very generous. And then the community, you, are donating money via doing the sew along. So there's also an extra bonus part this year, which is so exciting. There's a little cross stitch that's out there, and Priscilla of the Real Housewives of Cross Stitch, she stitched that one up, and I understand she is going to be donating that for charity. So it'll be an auction, and somebody will win that, and like Michael will be an auction. So there will be all this sort of community building to help make wishes come true for the Make-A-Wish. Now, to get in on this, you can use your own fabrics, but a lot of people love to buy the kits or buy the bundles. So I'm going to tell you what's available. And I showed you this when I unboxed it, but I want to show you a little bit more detail. So the, whoops, get to see down my hallway there, the trash can. So here is the box, and whoops, let me just, so where flowers bloom, so does hope. Lady Bird Johnson, and that is just, isn't that perfect for Make-A-Wish? I just think that is just a perfect saying that just is, you know, it touches your heart, you know, so much. Inside, this kit makes the quilt behind me. So you get a bundle of the fabrics, which are designed by Chelsea and Sherry and her daughter Chelsea. So they designed the fabric. And then there's white for the background, plus you get triangles on a roll. So if you've never used these to do triangles, they're fabulous. You probably really like them. You also get a full set of the patterns when you buy the kit. So you don't have to print them, and they're in color already, and that's really nice. And they're printed on really nice paper. Then the box comes with a bonus little template. So this, you don't need it to make the quilt, so if you're not using the kit, but the template is pretty nice, and that comes with it as well. So that is this part. And what we'll be doing is, whoops, let me get that in there, is on the back of the quilt, show you the other box. The backing, they went really fancy. So they did a nice backing with 2020 on it, and that's really neat. So if you want to piece your backing as a memory for your quilt, as the year that you did it, you can get this kit. It's an extra kit, a separate kit just for the backing, which has all the fabrics. Plus, I didn't even know this, it came with a mouse pad in it. Isn't that darling? And then there's the pattern in it. So that is the for the backing. Now, you don't, you could just use regular backing, a solid piece of fabric, which is probably what I'm going to do. Now my quilt, let's take a look up there. So you can see, let's shift over to the side here a bit. So you can see up there, we will be starting from one side, and I know the first two that are next to each other are the first block. That's the first thing we'll make. And then there'll be the Carolina Lily, which is next to it. See that one? So for me, I will be using my Bonnie Lane fabric, and I'm pretty much going to take all my fabrics here from Bonnie Lane and then lay them out. So like if wherever there's a green in this one, it'll probably be one of my greens. It just makes it a little bit easier, but it might be not 100% that way because it depends on how it looks when you start making the block. And I did that when we did the beginner quilt along, the ultimate beginner. I laid them out, but then I adjusted them a little bit because then you have a little flexibility. Now I do have a bundle for this. So there's a bundle of these that you can get, and then you can add the backing color that you want. You might want to have a cream, or you might want a pure white, or you might have something at home already. You might have a yardage of a background. You could use like a really pale yellow would be absolutely gorgeous with my fabric, or a very pale gray. You could go that way. So with mine is you don't have the backing, you pick extra. So the link that I'm going to give you, all the links are down below under the video, so you'll take you over to my website too, where you can get all the information. And so if you want to sew along with me and make it with Bonnie Lane each week that a block comes out, it's not every week, it's like every other week, I will show you how I use my fabrics to make it, and then my quilt will be the one that will be auctioned. So now the cross stitch is darling, and I have a picture of that. I don't have it, I obviously haven't made it, so I don't have one to hold up. But the Fat Quarter Shop did these cute bags for, they say Bloomtopia. Yeah, so if you're going to do cross stitch, you could get a Bloomtopia bag, and there's a needle minder, which I think I showed you before, so that you can put this on, and when you're cross stitching, or you can just put it on the actual, cross, like even for this bag, for me, like I would, let me show you how I would do this. So I want to keep track of the needle while I'm working. I don't want to wear it. You don't have to wear it. You could put it on your cloth if you're in the hoop, or just something like this. I put the magnet in the back side, and then I did this. So now let's say I want it down here a little bit more. I just shove it. The magnet goes with it. Now if I'm working, I can just leave this here and then just put the needle down as I'm working. I don't need to be wearing it because it's big. I like it better for putting on the project or on a bag. Because it is a magnet, you're not poking holes in anything. So this is great. So I could just leave it here and put the magnet while I'm working, and then when I'm done, just pop the little magnet off, put it, whoop, there it goes back, and then stick it in the bag. Then I had to get this. I just had to get it. Let me just turn this light off so you can see a little better. Whee! That's causing a glare there. There we go. So I got this charm. Oh, it's double bagged. What is with the Fat Quarter Shop and the double bags? Oh my goodness. Okay, let's get this open. Whee! So here we go. So they did a little pull charm, and I am going to stick that. I don't know, it's so cute. I might stick it on my purse, it's so cute. But I'm going to put it on here, which I love these charms for zippers because I find it hard sometimes to grab. Sometimes the zipper, this part, what is that called? I've lost the word. But anyway, sometimes that's tiny, so you can just do the zipper pull. So those are some extra things that are out there for this project, and I just think that they're great. They make it easier, they make it more fun for us to do, and I hope you will join the charity sew along so that, and I am going to try the cross stitch. Honestly, I'm not a huge cross stitcher, as many of you know. It's like I'm fairly new at it. I've done lots of embroidery, but embroidery is it's sort of a rocking motion that it's not the same as cross stitch. And so I'm still sort of getting used to the cross stitch and trying to decide if I like to do it in a hoop. I'll show you. I'll show you this. This is True Confessions. This is all of my cross stitch stuff. It's all in here, and I've been collecting it. But I got this because I thought this, whoops, what did I get? I got this one. I just got this one. Did I show you this one yet? I got this one because it is tiny and it's the months. And I thought this would be excellent. Now, what is it? Today is the 12th of January, and I haven't opened this yet. But I'm thinking I'm going to leave this out. You know, I've got cloth, and I use the bigger holes because I'm a beginner, so I don't want to kill myself trying to figure it out. But I'm thinking that I'm going to leave this out. So I'm going to get that started. So this is where I keep it. This is where I keep all the cross stitch. And I need to actually do more cross stitch. So if you are a cross stitcher, tell me about it. I want to know, you know, are you sort of getting rejuvenated back into cross stitching lately? I know a lot of people have told me that they're like super excited because they're getting started back into it. That's pretty good. So speaking of tracking, I know I wasn't speaking of tracking, but we got the planners. And if you didn't pick up a planner, I believe they're being reprinted, this particular one, so that's yay. So if you wanted this one, you'll be able to get it. Otherwise, you can track things in any kind of planner. So what I did was I did what I actually worked on. So for the month, what I actually finished, this is what I finished. And then what I decided to do was track over here. I'm trying to figure out a method. So I decided like on Thursdays, see so I'm in January and I'm just using this whole block as January. And I'm not being super detailed. I'm just saying like on Thursday, I want to do binding. I have a bunch of stuff that needs binding. I have things for my book that need binding. And so it's going to count. And so I thought, this one I need to track. I'm just going to track that I did what I did. This is a note to myself. Then I'm going to write that I actually did it and keep track of what they are. It's a little tough for me this month and probably next month to get much on the UFOs done with all the ongoing projects, but I'm trying. So speaking of ongoing projects, this is a good segue. I announced the new Block Wednesday theme and fabric. I don't have my fabric yet because it just came out. As soon as it came out, so it's on its way to me. I'll probably get it tomorrow, you know. But we did bundles at the Fat Quarter Shop. They did for me, and it's called Childhood Games. And it will start the last Wednesday of the month and go through all of May. And then we'll pop into June to show, you know, finished quilts. So it's going to be lap size-ish. You know, I gave a rough estimate, but I don't have the layout totally locked down, so I don't have an exact size. And this a larger bundle of fat quarters, so I have a lot of variety. And you'll probably have some left, and I might have an option, you know, to show you how to use some of that extra. It just goes in your stash. It's better to have a little bit more when you work like this than to be like, you know, super tight on everything. It's a super darling bundle. Oh my gosh, I just love just cute fabrics, childhood games, right? It should be sort of vibrant and fun and exciting, and I think it is. I know that a lot of you are really anxious to do the Block Wednesday with me. It's free, and every Wednesday morning I will have a new block, and the theme of the block will be, the name of it actually will be with the theme, so it'll be a childhood game. So I'm really anxious to hear what some of your favorite childhood games were. Maybe you know what you're playing now with your kids, your grandkids. It's just, you know, it's so fun to think about them and realize, oh, I haven't done that for a while. For me, it's like Chinese checkers. It's like I never understood the game, but I love the game board. I just love the board. So I used to have an old board, and it was my grandmother's. So I don't know if I still have it anymore. I have to look around, see if we kept it or not, because it was not fancy or expensive, and I think that it was cardboard and not, you know, it's kind of was getting yucky. So I have to look around. We may not have that. But Chinese checkers, which I never really knew how to play. So that I had to read. One of them will be called Chinese checkers for sure. That's a sneak peek. That's Now we're also doing out west, and your blocks have been fantastic, fantastic. You just go to, I'll put a link to all the photos and to the pattern. That's my block of the month. So that's just one a month, and it has a Western feel, and all the theme is about, we started with movies. All right, let me see. What else do I have? So let me tell you about the OLFA cutters, because I had a question from, so Jill asked me, you know, what is the difference between the two cutters that I like to use the most? So I use the OLFA Rotary cutters, and so I went ahead and got the new blue splash color, the navy color, out to show you. So these are my favorite two, and they are a little bit different, and they have some different features about them. So let's take a look so you can see what I'm talking about. This is the one that I use the most, which is, let's see, that one is called the Splash. Put this one over here a second. So the Splash is, I like that it's got these ergonomic, let me get you a little closer. Can you see that it's got the ridges? So there are these ridges here. And I find that these are great because your thumb doesn't slip, and also because that it is contoured like this, it is very nice ergonomically. It has a super easy open and close. This is very smooth. If it's not smooth when you're doing this, then you need to look at maybe having it adjusted with this screw here, because this turns. But for this should come out of the box just fine. It should go back and forth. It shouldn't be too loose, and it should, you know, stay when you push it up. The best part about this is the easy release for the changing the blades. So this is, I think, just absolutely brilliant. It says blade changer. Can you read that on there? Blade changer. So to change a blade, you just do this. You just pop it, and you just pull it back. It's you know, nice and firm, so it doesn't slide off by accident. And it is got those, you know, like you have to, like, it pushes up around this circle. Oh, there's some dust that came out. You do need to clean these. Now I'm going to hold this very carefully. If I was going to take this and change it, I would put it in the old blade container. I use the OLFA Endurance blades. I love them. And so here, this is why you need to clean it. Do you see? Do you see this? I can see the dust. Where's a pin? You get dust in here, and it is not going to work as well. See that? Look at that. Oh my goodness. That's gross. There's some on the other side? No. This, like, ugh. You've got to clean that stuff out. So if I was going to change this blade, then I would put a new one on there, and then you just lay it down like this, and then push the thing back up. And there you go, your blade is changed. This is my favorite, and it's super, super easy to use and work with, and I love the ergonomics. Now the other one has a little bit more ergonomic. So some people love this because, and I do too, this is my second favorite. It has a little bit more grip shim. There's also the ridges again up here, so when you're holding it, but it's got a nice lock. And this is super if you feel like, oh, you know, you need it to be more careful. Maybe you have little people in your house that might pick it up, and you can kind of push this lock down. And when you're using it, it never stays open then. So you have to push the handle in, and that way it's much safer. You cut, and as soon as you release, it closes up. So your blade is never exposed unless you're actually holding it. Now you as an adult, knowing what you're doing, you can lock that blade open like this. So that would be similar to doing this. It's locked open. It's not going to shut on you. So if you're doing stuff like you really need to put it up, put it down, and maybe you have a lot of issues, maybe you have issues with your hands that you can't do the repetitive motion so much. This one is actually perfect for that, because here you've got repetitive motion with your thumb or another finger. Here it's just your hand, and it's a natural motion, and that repetitive is a little bit different. So it's really great for people who have those kind of issues. Now this blade changes the regular way, where you're taking off the screw and dropping it. So that is how you change a blade. So those two are my favorite OLFA cutters, and they're the ones that I use all the time for all of my work. So if you are looking to upgrade one of yours, I suggest trying these, because they're really good. They have a lot of really nifty features, and I do like those endurance blades. I do feel that they last longer. That's just me, but I do feel that they do. It's a good thing. You don't want to be changing your blades all the time, do you? No, 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 no. So I wanted to talk books a minute before there's a sale on my books, and I want you to get in on it if you haven't gotten them yet. So I don't want you to miss out. Connecting Threads is running a 40% off on books, and these books of mine are on sale. The Celebrate the Seasons is on sale, which has loads and loads of things in it. Excuse me. So let me show you the winter quilt that's hanging in my living room, which I still need to do a video in my living room with it all blue. So there is the winter quilt, the Nordic. I just love it. The Teach Me to Machine Quilt is also on sale. So that one, if you want to machine quilt, it's not just the notes about, how to go about doing things, which, I've got this, and then there's also some videos. If you have the book, there's a link to some other online videos, but I also have patterns in here and ways. Let me show you. Like, this is one of my favorite patterns, so that you can practice. If you make a small project like this, and then you have something to practice on, and I tell you how I quilted it. There is my snowman. Where is he at? Here he is. One of my favorites, the snowman. So he's in here, and I tell you how I quilted him. It's got lots of pretty little spirals inside him. Yay! I need to hang him up. I don't know how I got lost not hanging him up. The Teach Me to Quilt, yes, this is also on sale, which if you don't have it, this is not just for somebody who doesn't know how to quilt at all. I wrote this as a primer, but also as a companion book. So like a lot of you are self-taught. You have learned by watching videos, just picking it up and doing it, which is like, that is so cool. But what happens is when you do that, you sort of miss pieces. You might miss why something's done a certain way, or why it's important that something's done a certain way. And if that's the case, this will fill in all the gaps. If you just follow the little processes, do the blocks in sequence, I take you through the different mechanics of learning to quilt. When I learned to quilt, I had a teacher who really believed in teaching us everything from the basics, along with drafting. I not only took her beginner class, then I took 2 other classes that I drafted double wedding rings, I drafted mariner's compasses. I learned all the mechanics of how a block is made, which makes me a better quilt maker. That way you can also, if you know how things are supposed to work, you can know how to fix them when they're not right. So sometimes people, I hear them write, I see you writing, oh, I got stuck, I don't know how to do this, I don't know why it's doing that. Well, once you know how it works, you'll understand, well, your seam allowance was off. That's why it's too small or too big. Those kind of things. So this is great. At 40% off, this is, you should get it. You should get it. And if you love the samplers, these are our 6, I did these with my friend Jane Davidson. They are the Splendid Sampler series, the 1 and 2. And there's 6-inch finished blocks that we did with all our designer friends. And if you've looked at these and not picked them up, this is the time to get them. There's tons and tons of darling blocks. You can see on the cover what a bunch of them are. And then we did tons more, so you can mix and match. And I actually have a Splendid Sampler group, so with Jane, so you can go over to the Splendid Sampler group and join us if you want to see. People are making them over there, and I know I need to reboot mine. I have this one that, remember I showed you a while back? I finally got into a top. It's in here. So like here are some of my, like this top needs quilted. Yeah, it's on that list for in my scrap planner of quilts that need quilted. Oh my goodness, there's a lot of those. Okay, so I have one more book to show you because it's a new book. This one's not on sale, but I wanted to show it to you because it's scrappy. Yes, it's about scraps, a sisterhood of scraps. Yeah, my friend Lisa Alexander did this, and it is super cute. But the whole concept is quilts that use up a lot of scraps. And she invited 6 designers to work with her, and then they each took like the concept of, like here, they took the concept of a 9-patch. And this is Lori Simpson's version. And then Lisa did the same one, which is, no, she didn't do the same one. Lisa did a 9-patch, but a different quilt. So here we go. So there you go. So what she did was take it and write a different pattern using 9 patches in different sizes, and then they did the same thing with log cabins. So there's Susan Aki's, and then Lisa did a log cabin version too, which is totally different. There you see, but they're both log cabins. And I just love the idea of that you see the basic block done in 2 different ways, all scrappy. So the Sisterhood of Scraps, I'll link you to that if you're interested in scrap quilts. And she also has her first book, Lisa's first book is called Oh Scrap, and that is 40% off. And so I will link you to that one too, because it is great. I'm gonna make a note to myself to link to that one. Yeah, I forgot. Oh, I forgot to bring the giveaway bag in here with me. I'm going to tell you about it, but it's in the other room. Oh, oops. That's okay. You don't need to see it again. I have the winner at the end here. So I wanted to just touch base again on the traffic jam, because we are going to still be making those, and I sent the blue and white away to the spa to be quilted. So my blue and white is being quilted, and I've got a funky quilt pattern I asked to put on it because this is for my brother, and it's a theme I want to see if he spots in it. So I will show you that, but when it comes back. So I have been sewing the gray ones. I've been sewing more of them. Let me show you. So here are the gray with the green. Ta-da! So I've been sewing these as I'm doing some other projects. And what happened was I decided to do 9 of these because I am going to sash it. I showed you a picture of that. I'm going to sash it last Wednesday with the polka dot. And this is an older polka dot I've had for a long time, so it'd be nice to use it up. I'm thinking sort of a wide sashing on it. But what happened was I don't have any more of this dot. And there's only going to be 9 blocks. And so I got 6. I think I get 6 with this, but there isn't any more. I can buy more of this, but I'm like, no. I don't want to buy more. I wanted to use something I have. So I'm going to have 3 of the blocks with this dark gray, which is a similar color gray. This one's a little darker, but I'm okay with that. So there will be 3 of those blocks that have that different coloration. And a few of you wanted to see what I'm doing, how the scrap bin is looking. So I'm working with the greens and the grays for these blocks. And you know, I could make a bed quilt probably out of, well, maybe not quite a bed quilt, but I have quite a bit, 2 stacks of the green and 2 stacks of grays in here. And it's making a small dent, you know, probably half of this stack, probably up to here, the other half, you know, like that much. That's probably been used in all here. So I'm pretty good with that. I think that's good progress on getting through scraps, you know, because they multiply. They're like bunnies. They multiply in our drawers. Yeah, a bunch of you are cutting them up too, and I've had asked again what sizes. I cut mine mostly the 2.5 because I don't make tons of scrap quilts, and so, you know, I don't have storage. I only have a limited amount of storage in here to keep it, so I do 2.5. But when I am cutting sort of forward, I use what are standard pre-cut sizes: 2.5, 5 for charm pack, and I do 10 for layer cake, because there are a zillion patterns that use 2.5-inch strips if you want to do strips, 2.5-inch strips for jelly rolls, 5 inches for charm packs, and 10 inches for layer cakes. There's tons and tons of books and patterns out there that use all of those. And so why cut shapes that are a different size, that I have to hunt around and find something that's the right size? If I know the pattern already, that's a different story, right? Because then you're making that pattern. But when you're cutting in advance, I find those 3 sizes are perfect. That's how I do it. That's how I do it. Now, I know that we haven't gotten really back to dealing with our storage and our organization like I had hoped, and so that'll probably be on hold for a little bit. You, of course, can keep working, which I've seen you doing in the Facebook group, Quilt Along with Pat Sloan, but you know, I can't do that right now. I have to focus on some other things. And thank you very much for using all of my links. When you shop with my links, that supports Greg and I, our small family business, and it doesn't cost you anything else. So I work with several different shops, Fat Quarter Shop, Connecting Threads, Amazon, Fabric.com, and so I receive a portion of those. A commission is what it's called. So we really appreciate you using our links to do your shopping. Yay! So let's talk about the giveaway, which I forgot to bring the bag in here, but you can see the picture from last week. So I have the winner, the person who gets the goodie bag. The question last week was, oh, and I'm going to give away a book. So hang on. Don't go away. Don't go away. So the question last week was your top project to work on for January, because I think that's a good focus. If we're doing the scrap planner, you know, if you're keeping a scrappy planner, if you're using a planner, that's the word. If you're using a planner, you need to have a thought of what you're going to do. And so that's why last week I said, you know, what would your January project be? So the bundle goes to Brenda Battle. And Brenda said her #1 project is to make the traffic jam for her son and get it quilted and put the binding on by January 31st. That's pretty doable. He's the only one of her children that doesn't have a quilt of his own. Oh, so she's making it happen. We have a full family gathering the first weekend in February. That's when she's going to give it to him. Yes, yes, yes. Goal done. See, having a goal like that is perfect. So I will be emailing Brenda and letting her know. But I thought, you know, I'm not going to do a giveaway every week, but I just have to do this one. I have to send this Sisterhood of Scraps out to somebody. So tell me, what is your favorite quilt block? So if you know the name of quilt blocks, pick your favorite. If you don't know the name, just link over to the book link. I'll leave the link for the book, and look through here and tell me what's the favorite quilt in here that you like. That'll be great too. So if you want to do that, and somebody will get this one, because I just love it so much. I want to be sure somebody else enjoys it too. Lisa does fabulous books. Well, I am thrilled. I'm thrilled you came and joined me tonight. This is awesome. If you're watching after the live, thank you for being here. Be sure you subscribe down below at YouTube and join me at Facebook at Quilt Along with Pat Sloan. I will see you online. Bye, friend.